Welcome to Beyond the Billboard, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes of out-of-home advertising. I'm Greg Wise, and I've spent years helping brands navigate the world of marketing and media planning.
And I'm Charlie Riley. I've spent 2 decades leading marketing teams who've pondered the same question about out-of-home. If you're a growth-focused marketer looking for data-driven ways to stand out, you're in the right place. Let's get started.
Welcome to another edition of Beyond the Billboard. If you're watching this on YouTube or where we post this via video, you're probably shaking your head. If you're just listening to this, we could kind of spare you the theatrics because it's Halloween, which is why I'm dressed as a Pokemon character. My co-host, Greg Wise, who is the co-founder of One Screen, who powers this podcast, he is dressed as a bunny. And we have Gayle Kalvert, who had to throw on a hat with us to just because she probably felt bad because we look kind of crazy. But It's Halloween. We're having a good time here talking marketing and branding. But I'm Charlie Riley, head of marketing at One Screen. We appreciate you joining us. And we're thrilled to have Gayle on as a guest. We're actually going to flip the model of this podcast around a little bit and have her ask us some questions. But Gayle, thanks for joining us. If you don't mind, and I'm a little nervous about this, but if you don't mind giving the high-level overview of who you are, you're the founder and CEO of Creo Collective. If you could just let everybody, the listeners, know what you do and who you are, and then how about we jump right into to your first question?
Yeah, I'm excited. I think the only reason you're nervous for me to introduce myself is because you know I'm from Long Island, and your wife's from Long Island, and she might have given you a heads up that I might, I don't know, say something a little off the cuff.
I've experienced Long Island enough to know that this could go a lot of ways, but
yeah,
I'm optimistic. Yeah.
It's only going to go well, Charlie. Yeah. All right. I'm so excited to be here, guys. And the costumes were obviously a surprise. So I'm winging it here. As you said, Gayle Kalvert. I am founder and CEO of a marketing agency called Creo Collective. We focus exclusively on B2B marketing in the tech sector. So we primarily serve software companies. In addition to that, I host 2 podcasts because come on, guys, like if you don't have a podcast right now, what are you even doing? And I got some other fun ventures in the works. But all in all, I really do love marketing and figuring out in one way, how can we even keep up today? Like, I feel like marketing has always been moving quickly, but in the last 5 years, the pace is so insane. I feel for our marketer clients and friends out there that are listening to us. And when you came to me and was like, do you want to talk about out of home? My first question was, yeah, sure. What's that? So I feel like I'm doing a disservice to my clients, honestly, by not knowing all there is to know about out of home and how we might be able to bring that to our clients. So I'm excited to ask you guys questions and put you on the hot seat.
We're excited to hear them because we work with a lot of agencies. We work with a lot of B2B brands who like you work with, but we do work with a lot of agencies that are trying to find different ways to bring ideas to their clients. And one of those can be out of home. You know, it's been the oldest medium there is, but it is sort of making a comeback as brands think about a true partnership between brand marketing, demand gen marketing, and just telling a full story. So yeah, there's a lot there. And I think when we chatted before, you gave me your out of home experience, which was pretty vast. So we're happy to hear. Let's hear the questions, and we can we could go into how we would approach it.
I'm ready. Yeah. Okay. So this one time, a client came to us and said, "We bought a billboard." And we're like, "Oh, well, that's fun." And they're like, "Can you design the billboard?" Absolutely. That is my out of home experience. And I think that speaks to a lot of people who think of out of home as a billboard on the side of a highway, which I've now learned from you is one thing, but there is a lot of other ways and a lot of other things, I guess, that are quote unquote out of home. So when we were talking, Charlie, before the episode, out of home is often considered branding. And I shared with you that my own bias in my own marketing career, and I mean, going back to like straight out of college, jumping into marketing my entire career, I always felt like branding was really hard to measure. So it was an area that I, as a marketer, was honestly reticent to like dive into, because if there's one thing you want to know about me, I'm all about results, whether it was my own career or now my clients, right? I was like, how do I get promoted faster? How do I get results? And branding felt to me like it was kind of shall we say, vague, or sort of like
Fluffy.
branding is something it sounds like something that's so nice to have. And I think that I know that a lot of our clients think the same thing, or their leadership thinks the same thing. So they're reticent to invest in quote unquote branding. So given all the experience you guys have and the measurement that you shared with me that you actually can do, can either one of you just like really basic, like branding out of home, how can you measure that and why is it worth your time?
Charlie,
The bunny.
Start.
I'm going to call on the bunny. I'm calling on the bunny.
It's ridiculous. I've been staring at myself all day and I'm just making myself more uncomfortable. Phenomenal question. It kind of goes back, and I don't want to be too long-winded. It goes back a little bit to the origin story, Gayle, because my background, my co-founders and I, we were early stage HubSpot employees. And I say that because, to your point, all the marketing we did, all of the peers that we had there, and all the marketing that HubSpot did was all performance-based. Mm-hmm. And never in a million years did I think that I would be in the billboard industry, if you will. But the crux of this is that in 2020, my co-founder, Sam, and I started to talk about, hey, is there a space out there, an industry that is ripe for disruption? Not in the MarTech space, not in the space where like everyone is already innovating, but like truly in white space, a blue ocean, where like there's not much innovation. And I was introduced because I went into commercial real estate, another super archaic industry. And I was introduced to out-of-home advertising. Now, that was just the first introduction. I was like, oh, cool, like very interesting arena. And it seems super old school. Then the point was digital marketing was getting harder. So those two pieces coming together, digital marketing is getting harder. Our constituents, our peers are like, look, the sort of playbook from 2010 to 2020 is kind of dwindling. It's not working as well. So like the whole calculated dollar in and a specific dollar out wasn't as predictable anymore. And so our whole thing was, oh shit, like we think the narrative and the reality is going to shift back to brand, but not having to prove that brand can be measured the same way we're used to. Now we're getting close, so I'll kind of explain what that is. But I think the first point is that I think as a whole, marketers and brands are coming to grips with the fact that like not everything can be or should be measured going forward. So that's like numero uno, which is getting crossing that chasm. Number two, we obviously needed to make out of home more accountable than it had previously been. So there's a couple ways to do this. One, we actually have a methodology, and now it's kind of ubiquitous, but the ability to track exposed mobile IDs, right? So like a person with a phone passing by a billboard when your ad is up, and being able to actually then track whether or not we observe that mobile ID also on your website or on a landing page.
Oh, amazing. Yeah.
Simplest explanation, that's how it works. There's a matching process to an IP address as well. But ultimately, at least directionally speaking, identifying how many people saw a billboard or a bus shelter, then took action on your site within a certain look back window. That's number one. That's
Let me clarify that. Greg, I do want to clarify that is anonymous information, though. We do not know who that person is. So there's a layer of security there.
All legalities are covered. Okay.
No PII. It is important. There's no PII. And when people find out about the methodology, they're like, oh, this is really creepy as consumers and humans, but this is awesome as marketers, right?
But they don't think about the information that they're giving to their supermarket and the amount of information that they have. And actually, they know exactly who you are. So it's really not creepy when you're in context around like someone says, like, oh, this ad's following me around Facebook. Well, because you told them everything about your life. Right. Where, yes, there is a layer of, there's a layer of transparency there that we don't see that PII.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to get too bogged down in that, honestly, right? Because I think primarily we're talking to marketers who want to tailor. I mean, that sounds amazing to me. Again, as a marketer and an advocate for my clients, like you can target your ICP when and where they are, which is the most challenging thing that we're all facing.
Yeah. Which is interesting when you talked about your example there of one of your clients going out and buying one billboard. And, how we would probably approach that is what Before we would just buy any billboard, it would be, what is your overall goal here? Do you have who is your ICP? Is it an ABM campaign? Because maybe you're only targeting one really great account and one billboard would do it. More than likely, you need a wider range of inventory and exposure to different formats, tying that into your digital campaigns. One billboard, it would probably not be enough, maybe without context, that's a tough thing to get that much exposure. So it always comes back to, as you talked about, like driving revenue and understanding that we use so many different data sources to pinpoint where the best locations are for executives who are driving not only just to work, but maybe the past they come home from. And that's all information we have access to, but we can start to triangulate where the right audience is. And that's where we work with all the different formats. So it may be a traditional billboard. It may be a digital billboard. It may be bus shelters. It may be ads inside of Ubers on certain, it really depends on where they are. And then we can take that information and figure out what's the best mix of formats to get the right number of impressions in front of your audience.
Can I ask you guys a bunch more questions?
Keep going.
I have so many. Okay. One of the things that we find most difficult is how to find your people, because people don't go into work anymore, right? So the direct mailings, for instance, I'm always like, people say, oh, let's try that. Yeah, no, it is super effective now because there is less mail if you can actually find your person, right? Because that might be their home address. And you just mentioned like, maybe it's where they go to the gym every day or different things like that. How is your business adjusting to remote work and return to office? Is that playing out at all in what you do?
That's a really good question. So I'll first start by saying it's never one-to-one, right? So out of home is still a broadcast medium.
You're not
right?
stalking people. You're not actively stalking people.
That's right. The idea we are not stalking people. And the point is the idea is pick the right formats that will eliminate the most waste as humanly possible, right? You will never always get 100% of the audience you care about. There's always going to be spillover. So the idea is, how do you eliminate the waste? And that's where our data comes in. To your point, we actually started during the pandemic. So it was like we had to build our tech and we had to leverage data in order to figure out, well, if people aren't going back into the office, and then eventually it was hybrid or not at all, how do we actually figure out where the heck these people live, work, and play? It basically comes down to the data that we aggregate from the telcos that allow us to identify where we observe these cell phone signals. And then beneath those signals, anonymously, we get these attributes, demographic attributes, consumer attributes. So like, do these people shop at Whole Foods? And we know in relatively near real time where these people are, so that we don't have to just identify or reach the person at the office. We can also reach them like in the zip codes in which they live, the roadways in which they take their daily journey, and then the other establishments that they typically go. And it's really about the aggregation of existing data that's out there. We just aggregate more of it and use it in different ways.
Amazing.
So you can be very targeted. Like, tell me the kind of occupation you want to target.
Yeah.
We work with B2B customers also. We need to reach marketing execs or operations folks, C-suite executives, engineers, all of which are a certain age, certain income, drive a certain kind of car, have a certain family makeup, right? All of those things that we can layer in to find the right market and the right billboard or bus shelter or whatever.
Okay. That's my next question. I'm sold. I'm a client and I'm saying, guys, this is genius, right? Why would I not invest in out of home as part of my integrated campaigns? What are the maybe top 3 things that your client should know to help you make the right decisions for them?
I'll start with one while you're thinking, Greg. You do not have to only be in New York City or San Francisco or just the major markets, because somebody might, again, a perception around out of home might be Times Square. And like, well, there's a ton of out of home there. There's a lot of people. There's a huge concentration of people. Well, if you're a B2B brand, that's not going to be a good fit, which you'd probably understand that. But what I mean by that is the data that we have is we're able to understand There might be secondary markets that are a really good fit. And that's because your audience might be in the healthcare space, and there's concentrations of cities that are not maybe the more expensive tier 1 cities, but your campaign could run longer. It could have much more exposure to the right audiences in maybe secondary cities. Mm-hmm. So going into the thought process around like, well, we have to be in New York or LA because that's where everybody is, that may not necessarily be true, especially from a B2B standpoint. So that's one thing that I would think about. Greg?
I think that's a big one. I think the number one thing that we always encourage our customers to think about, because a lot of them don't know, when they don't know much about out of home, you can't blame them. There's a huge education gap in the industry. Think about the outcome. What are you looking to achieve? Yeah. And I talk about this and more now, because the question's always like, what market should we do? Mm-hmm. How much should we spend? Mm-hmm. What does the format mix look like? And yes, the age-old answer in out of home is like, it depends. But instead, it's more of, what are you looking to achieve? Are you looking to put a billboard up against, a target account that if you can sell to will make or break your entire year? Mm-hmm. Are you looking to build virality? Are you looking to be a market maker? Are you looking to outpace a competitor? Is there a certain sell-through? If you're a CPG brand, you just made a deal with Walmart at an end cap, and you have a commitment to sell a certain number of SKUs. All those things play into account in terms of what markets, how much should you spend, and on what format types in order to achieve that kind of impact. Most marketers start with budget.
Right. Well, that's my next question. You have to answer.
I do want to add one. Gayle, can I add one more? Because you did ask for 3. Let me add one more to that, because I think this is very important. How much time factor goes into a couple things. How long is your campaign going to run? And that's our job to figure that out and make suggestions there. But time for the marketer to really, this should not be a last ditch, like, oh yeah, we have budget left over, let's add out of home into play. Right now, we're seeing inventory levels as lower than we've ever seen them before for certain markets. To do an out of home campaign correctly, to get it for probably the best price, to get the best locations, to get the best billboards or whatever that might be, the more time that you can plan out ahead of time, the better chance you're going to be to have a successful campaign. So as marketers think about execution, it should not be an afterthought or like, oh, we'll get to that and we can put a billboard up in a few weeks or tomorrow, whatever that might be. There's a good chance good inventory is sold out. Or it's going to be more expensive if you wait too long. So the time factor really goes into, as you're thinking about how does out of home work, the more time you can give yourself, the better.
Excellent. I mean, I've never met a client that wanted something quickly, hadn't pre-planned it. No, I mean, we can all achieve hero things for our clients, of course, but the better thought out and the more lead time you have.
But if you think about running campaigns in the United States next year, you have, San Francisco is a huge market. We run a lot of campaigns for B2B brands there. The Super Bowl is there in February. Already a lot of really great inventory is already gone. The World Cup is happening in a number of major markets in the United States. A lot of inventory is being scooped up. So you're right. Like, marketers and brands never wait till the last minute. We've never seen that happen. But this year is definitely one of those times where you probably want to get ahead if you're starting to think about out of home.
Do you want to run your own account-based marketing program, but you're feeling overwhelmed by complex jargon, expensive tech stacks, and unclear strategies? The Scrappy ABM podcast offers proven strategies and actionable plays that you can use to get started with quick wins. Learn at your own pace, simplify ABM to start seeing real results. Visit Scrappy ABM Podcast or tune into the Scrappy ABM show wherever you listen to podcasts.
You brought up budget, Greg, and can we give people an idea? Like, you really shouldn't be thinking about out of home unless, like we said, if you want to get actual results, you need some time invested here or some sort of commitment. Can you give some, range of what clients invest in this?
We have clients, and I'll kind of categorize it as high growth B2B clients, well-funded, maybe like they've raised 20 million or above. Mm-hmm. I will say usually their first foray into out of home in a tier 1 or tier 2 market is usually like low 6 figures, okay, 50 to 100K, because normally their outcomes that they're looking to achieve is some sort of growth milestone.
Right. Yeah.
The truth is that you do have to have a certain number of impressions in a lot of these markets in order to achieve impact, quite frankly.
Mm-hmm.
There might be people out there who are like, yeah, you could buy one billboard. You could, and guess what? You will see positive results, but the impact that you're looking for, likely not. And it's all about those expectations.
I think my story might be a good one for you.
Yeah.
The client that bought one billboard went out of business. So it is a testament to buying a billboard for a 24-hour period may not be a good use of investment. I'm going to go out on a limb here.
And that's the difference between a social moment for a picture and performance.
Mm-hmm.
And the reality is, if you're looking for performance and results, it does take a little bit more. Now, a billboard on the Mass Pike here in Boston, because I'm in Boston, a really great prime location could be 15 to 30K a month. Something on the 101 in San Francisco, or a lot of B2B marketers want to be, prime time locations could be upwards of 30 to 60 to 80, depending on where you want to be per month. In a tier 2 market in Atlanta, or even we're doing a lot of stuff in Tampa, it's well below that, right? And so that's where, to Charlie's point, hey, by the way, given the fact that everyone is remote and what the pandemic did, your audience is also in these other markets, and you can get more bang for your buck. So $100.
We have a lot of clients in Kansas City. We have a lot of clients in North Carolina, right? So there are tons of smaller regional areas that you're going to get a lot more bang for your buck.
We do a ton in Minneapolis, in Denver, in Austin, Nashville. And these are locations where, quite frankly, like you get a lot more for your money, and the audience is really there. So yes, it does depend.
Sure.
But spending $100 on a billboard for a picture, great. For performance, not so great.
Right. No, that's super helpful. This leads me to my other question. I was surprised to hear about all the things that are out of home that are lesser known. Can you guys just rattle? I'm gonna make you rattle things off, like fast paced, guys. What are some out of home tactics that people aren't thinking about because you're only thinking about billboards and taxi cabs?
That's why we named it Beyond the Billboard, because people, that's their first thought. But if you like, the examples we were just talking about are more like city based. But when there's conferences that are a really great play to be concentrated on an audience, especially if you're like in these niche or niche markets, you could wrap cars. You could have a LED wrapped truck that not only can drive around a location and be very mobile. Say you're doing a VIP dinner at that event, you can have that sitting outside with logos rotating through. Like that's a wow moment right there.
Mm-hmm.
We've done things where you could wrap ice cream or coffee carts and have a street team hand those things out. So it's experiential marketing. Most people might think of that as like PR executions, but there's 5, 10, maybe more vendors that have to be negotiated and worked with. That's what we do. And that's an out-of-home experience, not just a PR play.
Charlie, let's actually rattle it off.
There's no rattling. Like, okay, this is like,
that was unrattling. Sorry.
I'll go. First, if it flies, drives, or floats, you can put an ad on it outside of your house. It's out of home. Sandcastles as your logo on a beach. It blew our mind. It's out of home. Charlie?
Guys, I'm hiring you. Wait. I'm on record right now saying I'm hiring you to do a sandcastle. Do I get to pick the beach?
I am not personally building the sandcastle.
I don't want you to make the sandcastle. Look at you with your bunny ears. I don't think that you can make a sandcastle.
Well, I can. I'm actually not.
We have sandcastle people. We'll do it.
Okay, I want one on my favorite beach next year with my Creo Collective logo. Okay.
Drone shows. You could do a drone show with it.
Okay.
Aerial banners. So you see them at the beach, planes with the banner behind it. Everyone has seen it. Don't realize how accessible it is, how inexpensive it is, and that it's out of home.
Okay. Experiential. Everybody wants an experience, guys. Tell me what the experience ones are again.
Wrapped cars. You can have teams walking with sandwich boards, and you got your logo and your brand on that. They could be your employees and talk to people and engage with them.
You could do a flash mob. You could do, I mean, literally anything that you put an ad on. You could have, folks that are in Vegas. You have like IV, like for conferences or events that are happening at hotels. No. You can have folks show up and do like IV services, and the truck itself and the people are all branded in some sort of particular company's branding.
Yeah, I love
And
this.
you have a captive audience with them to talk to them while they're getting their IV.
Our tagline is "We got you." So then it's just like, we got you, even if you're hungover. We got your IV. Oh, I love that. Okay, you're giving me so many good ideas. What else do you guys want me to ask you about out of home? I got like so many. Okay, one of the things that I know we both do, obviously, are help clients with events. Companies are paying a shit ton of money, right? It's my technical description, but huge budget line items are going to events as people are excited to be back in the real world and do things, which is awesome. But what we see time and time again with our clients is they are not thinking enough about before the event and after the event. So obviously, a lot of the out of home ideas that you brought up are things you could do at an event. Is there anything you help clients do before and after to really, that's when the meetings happen, right? That's when you really get the deal, is after the event itself.
So the way we like to think about events or conferences, those are moments in time, fantastic. But the same way you just described, there's a before, during, and after. And so it depends where the conference is. And what I mean by that, I'll give you two literal examples. You're a B2B tech company and you want to advertise at Dreamforce at the Moscone Center in San Francisco. There's a high likelihood, yes, it could be expensive, but there's a high likelihood that your target audience is in San Francisco already. And that a lot of folks attending Dreamforce are likely going to be in market. Vegas, most folks don't live in Vegas that you're trying to target. Rarely. Shouldn't say that's always the case, but rarely. So for a Vegas conference campaign, it likely is just that moment in time. Otherwise, you're really going to be wasting impressions. So for that first example, you absolutely can warm up the market. 2 weeks prior, you absolutely should be warming up the market of all the people that you want to go see that you know are going to be going to Dreamforce, and let them know that you're going there. Actually use digital inventory and creative to actually let them know. During the event, do a heavy up, what we call a heavy up. Do something very localized around Dreamforce. Those are the wrapped cars, the LED trucks, the people walking around, the bus shelters that are close by to the Moscone Center. Now the campaign is done. How do you stay top of mind? Make sure that you get the people that are actually exiting and leaving, going to the airport ads. It could be extended billboard coverage so that like you maintain your presence in the market. That's how you do it right in a market that you actually care about penetrating. And there just so happens to be an event or conference in the middle of it.
Two other ideas that could work for that, for the after to get meetings, is if you know if your customers are going to be there, you're going to have conversations with them, or even, well, more so on the customer side. And this is maybe for retention marketing. Interview them at your booth, talk to them there, grab a picture with them and get a quote. We've seen customers do customer marketing campaigns with billboards. So they'll use their customer image and the quote that they said and show their work. And like they'll do 5, 10, 15 customers on that billboard. That's a great thing to send that to them. They're going to share that on social. That just expands the number of people that see your reach there. So that's one way to do it. The other thing to do from a meeting standpoint after the fact is you're scanning the badges, your sales team's working with people. They're building a list of everyone that they met with. You can use out of home as an ABM execution. So we could take that list, we could figure out where those locations are and where the majority of those people live or where they work. And we can run ABM campaigns after that event to put out of home executions where those people spend time. So that just extends maybe where they would see your brand. And it's like, I just talked to them. How am I seeing this here? That expedites some of that meeting execution there.
Awesome. Okay. Tell me about your software platform. None of this at all has anything to do with your software platform, but you also have a platform. So what's that about?
Well, it does, because we use our platform to actually plan these campaigns.
Okay.
And so number one, the platform itself has access to every piece of inventory that you could possibly think of. So all that inventory you just asked us about, we have access to. So like number one, literally like you would see dots on a map. It's every piece of inventory you could think of: billboard, bus shelter, or other. That's number one. Number two is that data layer. So you actually would then say, I want to target marketing professionals who've shopped at Whole Foods, who have an inclination to work out or belong to a gym. I'm making this up, but that's what would happen. Then it actually will show you the top ranking markets.
Okay.
And you can do the top ranking markets by sheer number of people who fit that profile, or the sheer number of people relative to population. So like concentration. And then from there, it actually would then list out the inventory that indexes the highest. All
Okay.
that happens in a workflow. And then from there, it's about how much do you want to spend, and then like orchestrating the right mix of the inventory based off of that relative to the outcomes.
And then as your client, am I able to see dashboards and stuff like that?
So here's where we're going next, which is we've intentionally not opened it to the public fully. We did this in the past, but we had a lot of, like, it was a ton of demand and a lot of folks coming into the platform trying to do out of home that didn't know how to do it. We don't want that, right? So we are still doing some hand-holding here and helping folks use it. So that's what we're doing primarily. Sneak peek, early 2026, more outward-facing tools, and we will absolutely get you into the platform.
You can just edit all that out if you don't want. But did you mean clients using the platform to execute out of home? I was talking about just seeing how their campaigns are going. Sorry, I wasn't sure.
So the former is not going to be the case for a while. People can really like screw it up pretty easily.
Actually, I was like, I don't want to be doing out of home myself.
No,
I would like you to be doing out of home.
It is. And we're really transparent. Yeah. We show how we're using the product on the client's behalf.
Right,
and then
right.
In terms of the back end, the dashboards, yes, all that's being launched in early 2026. Right now, we are kind of like taking the results from the platform and showing it.
Totally. Okay.
Yeah. Good question.
What else do you guys, I've been giving you a whole commercial. What else do you guys want me to ask about your company?
We can also do a part 2 at some point, but this is good.
Oh, I had like a stupid question. I have a question. Is it niche or niche?
I said both just to cover my bum, but
I saw that.
Why
you were really making sure that you didn't offend anybody with niche or niche. And I always said niche. Then I was told that was wrong and it's niche. And I'm like,
I avoid it because I don't want to sound one way or the other.
Yeah, I don't know. So I said both because I don't know why I did that. And
I just don't think it's that deep. And I don't think you should be worried about offending people by saying niche or niche. Just go for it.
I'm not so worried about offending them. I guess I just I don't know. That's a good point.
You want to relate. You're like, I'm here to relate with the niche people and the niche people.
That's a deep question. I like it.
Yeah. Okay.
What?
Okay, I know I have more questions. Okay. I want to know like the most cool. What is the thing that you have done for a client where they were like, holy shit, that was so cool? Because your stuff is kind of cooler than what I do, and I'm jealous. So what is it?
Yeah. To be honest with you, and this is the truth, doing even just a regular static billboard is just fucking awesome.
It's so cool.
It is a different feeling. I mean, I sold software for 10 years. Like, it's a feeling that, like, seeing a smile on someone's face, just a traditional billboard, a static one where it's vinyl. It's awesome. And people smile. It works, number one. But, like, you make people happy with it. So, like, it's always cool. We did happen to drop a wrecking ball on a car in the middle of New York City for a customer of ours that was launching a new product. So it was like, drop a wrecking ball on the old, in with the new. So like,
okay.
That was pretty awesome.
That's pretty dope. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Pokemon. What do you got, Pokemon?
Kind of what Greg said. It's kind of cool to see customers who've never run out of home before, and they send us pictures of people that texted them, hey, I saw your billboard, and they get so jazzed and excited about it. Like, I think because it is all over the place. Like, you do one of those huge billboards in a major market, and it's just like, that's a wow moment. You can't unsubscribe from that. You can't, even if you don't care, you're still going to see it and you're going to remember it. And if the creative is really good, that's the other part about out of home. Like, you have this canvas, either digitally or static, to tell a cool story that, has to relate back to your brand, but the creative is different. You don't have, you have to be really direct about it. And when you see a customer just nail a really cool creative, especially when they like own a color that stands out, and they're using the right formats, and like I said, they'll send us pictures of like, hey, someone was driving down the road and they sent us like, they saw our billboard, that first party validation. That's really cool.
Awesome. I have ideas. I have all these ideas of what I want on a billboard. Okay. I end my podcast with a couple of fun questions, but you guys are going to come on my podcast, so I can't ask those. So
yes, I'm excited for that.
Should I just come up with some other ones?
Sure.
Okay. What's your favorite app for not work? What's your favorite app? Like life. Everybody needs to simplify. Everybody needs something that makes their life either like easier or more fun. What's your favorite app?
Am I cheating by saying ways?
Yes, that's lame.
Damn it.
Or
Around
fun,
me?
like
All right,
fun.
around me?
Fun.
Well, shit. Around me?
Wait.
Is that fun?
Around me? What is that? Like
Oh.
people who are around you?
Oh, no. So around me is, let's just say you are in, I don't know, traveling with your family somewhere and you're in a random town and the kids are like, I'm really hungry. I want pizza. And you're like, I don't know my way around here. And so around me literally will show you what pizza places are closest by.
But I use
Or
Yelp.
coffee shop.
Am I dating myself that I use Yelp for that?
Maybe,
Do you not use Google, Greg? There's a thing called Google that helps us.
This is very specific.
Pizza places near me. It's hard. It's hard to find pizza places.
Or anything to be, all right, guys. And I'm looking through my phone.
All right, Charlie, what about you? What's your fun or life-changing app?
Orange Theory, because it that's my outlet. And so I don't know if that's a cop-out, but that's my it helps you keep track of your fitness too. So like, it gamifies fitness for you. So I don't know. That's my, when you have little kids and you need an outlet, that's my outlet. And I like to kind of actually keep track of some things there. So that's probably pretty boring.
It's really aspirational of you, Charlie, especially when you're wearing a Pokemon onesie to cover up.
I almost wore this to work out today, and I'm really glad I did.
I have no fitness app. My outlet is tequila, but sorry.
There's apps. There's tequila. There must be.
I'm just saying. Orange Theory has definitely never been downloaded on my phone. I don't have any plans of downloading it.
I'm sure there's the Vivino for tequila.
I mean, this may be so lame, but like my most fun life-changing app is Spotify, because for me, it's all music and podcast, guys, of course. But like, really, I think if we looked at the number of hours that I use Spotify, it would be up there with my work apps.
You said Spotify and I couldn't say Waze.
People, Waze is just like a map, dude. It's just a map.
Spotify is just, it's music. Who doesn't use Spotify?
Greg, you're not winning this one, Greg. You're not.
Damn it. All right. I'm gonna take my bunny ears and
we'll just continue. We'll continue this debate another time.
This has been awesome, Gayle.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Sure. Anytime you want me to come on and ask you guys how great you are, I'm available.
I need that because there's no one in my household to tell me that I'm great.
It's true. Guys, I have teenagers. It's like if you ever want to feel that. Yeah, it's like the humbleness is like, it's like we're on the floor over here. I'm like, can I do anything right? No.
Yeah. So, I'm not even sure my children know they have a father. So
we appreciate you joining us and actually asking us these questions, because I think a lot of marketers and even agency leaders, they're looking for ideas. And I think our job, we've learned it's very loud and clear. There's a lot of education that needs to happen around out-of-home advertising. And we know it's not going to replace every marketing budget, but we also know that it's a really great fit that goes along with what you do for clients, what clients do directly themselves. It should be a consideration there. So the questions are great. We had a lot of fun. We'll do something again. Maybe we could get together and we'll use your app to find a pizza place. So we'll drink some tequila and we'll have a good time. But
Charlie will work out. But on the next podcast episode, that's what all of us will be doing. Yeah.
We are completely off the rails, but this has been a really good, this has been an excellent Halloween episode. We appreciate it. We appreciate you laughing on our behalf. We had a lot of fun with this. So Gayle, thanks for joining us. How can people find you? How can people spend time with you and get to know you? Where can marketers where can they find you?
It's super simple. GayleKalvert.com.
Perfect. Love it. Check out her podcast.
With a K. Kalvert with a K.
Yes.
That's all you
Wait, tell them about your podcast. Where to find your podcasts? What they're called?
It's called Work in Progress and Marketing in Progress. But you can find all of it on GayleKalvert.com. My website, my agency, podcasts, one spot. There you go.
They're probably on Spotify, Greg, which is a lot more efficient app than your pizza place one. But check it out on Spotify. Yeah. Check out our website. Gayle, thank you so much for joining us.
No, this was so fun. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we appreciate it. For everyone listening, thank you for joining another episode of Beyond the Billboard. We will talk to you again soon, probably not in the same costumes. Thanks.
That's a good thing.
Thanks for tuning in to Beyond the Billboard.
If you liked what you heard, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. And if you found value today, share this with a fellow marketer who should be thinking bigger about out-of-home advertising.
If you're looking for a template to build your out-of-home program, visit onescreen.ai to get a free media plan or connect with us on LinkedIn for all the latest out-of-home insights.
This has been Beyond the Billboard. We'll see you next time.